On this episode of Get Real, we review the new movie I.S.S. brought to you by this company. Hello and welcome. I'm Hot Toddy.
I'm Miss Pengrino.
And this is an all-new episode of
Get.
Okay. See, I don't. Why do we do this? Why is it you just go into it now? You don't
Because,
even give me a
you
second.
Don't tell me what you want me to do.
You don't give me 1 second to even get going into the thing. You just dive right into it. So we said get already. So real.
That was an ordeal.
And on this episode...
Sorry, our laundry soap smells fantastic.
It does.
It really does.
Okay.
And on this episode of Get Real, we're going to talk about a movie that no one's talking about, and I really didn't know anything about until a few days ago, and now we saw it, and now we know why. It's called I.S.S. For International Space Station.
I thought it was I Super Suck.
Oh.
That's how I felt about this.
I.S.S. You know what it stands for? It super sucked.
It super sucked.
Oh, do 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 do.
From all of us down here in Mission Control, welcome to Space.
So that was, that's my usual question as we get into the episode. What did you think of I.S.S.?
First off, not my kind of movie.
No.
I'm not a bit I like space. I like space things, but more in a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of space situation,
right?
Than real life dramatized.
We're big into space.
Situation.
We like Star Wars. You can just barely see it, but there's the Star Trek poster over there.
Again, that's a fake situation,
right?
Versus a real life possible dramatization of something.
Right, and I'm not a big fan of those types of movies either.
Not my thing going into it. We were taken to it as just to have a night out.
Another free movie from Mom and Dad.
Yep, so appreciated because it came with dinner.
Sure.
Dinner was great.
That was delicious. Always good.
It was very boring.
I mean,
it had a point, I suppose.
It wasn't so much boring for me.
Wait, I got one more thing.
Oh, please, go right ahead, yes.
It happened too quickly and slowly at the same time.
That's what she said.
Slowest movie ever, yet
all happened.
It all happened.
Okay,
so quickly.
So basically, what it is that it was a bad movie.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
It was. I liked the noir version. It's like noir in space. I get what they were trying to go for. So let's get into it. So International Space Station, ISS, is, of course, is a real thing. The International Space Station is a real thing. We do have international astronauts up there working together side by side to help solve, the world's biggest problems, and it's a beautiful thing. But then this movie is basically what if. It's a what-if movie. What if Russia and the United States had a nuclear fallout and they decided to go into nuclear war with one another? And at the time, there's only Russian and American astronauts at the ISS. What would happen? Would they take sides of their government, or would they band together? Not shocking at all. For the sake of this movie, they decide to do what their governments ask them to do, and then they all turned on each other.
Really, to be honest, only one of them originally decides to do this.
That's true.
But in his deciding to do this, some of the others decide to play ball.
Yeah, it's.
Had the one guy not, it probably wouldn't have been a thing.
I will say that I do like that. That was one of the few things of the movie that I did. It's that aspect of I was just following orders, that is one of the scariest and most devastating quotes in American history is I was only following orders.
Right, because it still happens today.
Yeah, I mean, that happened a lot during the days of the Nazis, when that was a lot of, like, during court cases following World War II. That's what a lot of them were saying when they were charged. I was just following orders because I'm a soldier of my government. And that's basically what it is here, is that you're at the mercy of your government. So if there's a nuclear war happening, and you're not even on Earth.
But see, that's my thing here.
Yeah.
The ones who use that excuse on Earth, I get it more, because it's like, well, I followed orders or I died.
Yeah.
Because you were literally in front of the person giving you orders. If you didn't take them, that could be your life. These guys were in space. Ain't nobody going to be able to do anything to them.
And they were all getting along.
They were getting along. There was nothing wrong. Like, nobody could have killed them for not following orders.
That's the thing.
So I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah.
Because, like, you could have just been, I didn't hear that message that you sent me.
And
I didn't get it.
And another weird thing is that this movie is 95 minutes long, which is extremely refreshing.
Thank God.
Big space epic at an hour, just a little over an hour and a half, Miss Pingrino. That was amazing.
Thank God.
That was so great.
Because most movies we've seen lately have been a minimum of 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what most of them are nowadays. And the thing about it is that, because it was 95 minutes, they immediately get into the whole thing. They had like one day where they all get along, and it sets up. They all love each other. They all like each other. Nuclear war.
Literally not
now
even
what?
a day. It was like a night. It was New Year's night. And New Year's Day, all hell breaks loose.
Like maybe January 2nd?
Yeah.
You said New Year's. It was New Year's night. Now
It was New Year's
Day.
night. So New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve.
No,
so
it was New Year's Day. But at nighttime.
I care!
Fine. January 2nd. I don't freaking care. Okay? Whatever. They were celebrating New Year's.
Yeah.
Next day, literally,
All hell breaks
loose.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Literally.
Shit is exploding. And now...
I just did that in the bathroom.
Okay.
Why are you the way that you are?
And now we have to know, do we follow orders to take over the I.S.S. at all means, at all costs necessary, any means necessary, whatever the thing said? Or do we band together as scientists and say, nope, I am not a soldier, I am a scientist, and I shall remain as such?
Spoilers. So that's what it is that when the nuclear war starts, America contacts the American astronauts, and it's like, take control of the I.S.S. Russian intelligence gets in touch with the Russian astronauts. Take control of the I.S.S.
Again, here's why I say this is the fastest, slowest movie ever. Because we're literally 10 minutes into the movie, and we've already jumped into the main objective.
Which is good. I applaud that.
Which is not necessarily an issue.
Yeah.
Except we're at the main issue, and now we're going at a snail's pace.
And then, yeah.
Everything has like 10 extra minutes of dialogue that it didn't need. 10 extra minutes of staring at the Earth from space that it didn't need.
There was a lot of glancing. There was a lot of glancing.
This is what is when I think about reading books. I enjoy books, but sometimes a writer likes to add so much description and so much what I call fluff, what most people would call fluff. That's just too much. You get bored, you skip over that part, or you put a book down. This is what this movie did. It put so much description, so much fluff, so much random clips of this shit. Instead of just getting to the point, taking longer to build to the point and then going, it just fluffed everything.
Because here's the thing.
Fastest, slowest movie ever.
Okay, so I read the Wikipedia kind of synopsis of the film.
Synopsis?
But when we were waiting for the movie to begin, and I was getting dizzy because there was all this double crossing, betrayal, double cross this, double cross that, and then sure enough in the movie that's what it was. It was just they lied, double cross, triple cross. And it's like, I appreciate the noir factor of the film. I appreciate what they're trying to do. But it was way too much for a movie of this caliber. And you're right, there was so much just hanging around.
Yeah.
Even when people were getting killed, there was hanging around. And there was talking. And there was glancing at the Earth, which is now like a fireball because there's nuclear war right now.
It was
we don't want to give too many spoilers away because if you're wanting to see this movie, That's up to you. You probably can tell by where our recommendations are going to be here at the end. But yeah, it just wasn't great. And like, there was so many like pointless things that happened in the film.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, there's one line in the film, and I had to make mention of this. There are only 2 women on the space station. One of the women
line gets him crazed up.
One of the women says, because long story short, they're trying to make an alliance, and so I don't remember any names, any character names. I don't even know any actors. They were all nobodies or new people. I don't know what you want to call them. I don't know these people.
One of them wasn't a nobody.
No, one of them was from the Mindy Project. I remember.
I was going to say Gordon wasn't.
I recognized him from the Mindy Project. That's the only thing I recognize him from. But the rest of them, I don't know them.
Who am I? What am I?
Main woman says that other woman, she said, she told me this. Like, something happened, like, she told me this. And one of the other astronauts goes, who told you this? There's only one other she on the space station. There were no, like, transgender people who identify as she or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally
4 men,
2 women. There was only one other she. And I got so mad when I heard that line, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Who do you mean? There's only one other woman on this goddamn thing. What the hell?
What the hell is even that?
She. Who? Who told you?
I didn't even, like, make this connection because, like, I'm so spaced out at this movie. Haha, spaced out.
Oh!
That I didn't even catch that. And he's trying to, like, tell me why he's so frustrated. And I'm like, I don't get it. And I don't even think I heard that.
It was so bad, that line.
He was so mad.
And so that's another thing. Is like the dialogue, it was so boring and was so stupidly put together. And again, you know, it's just all of this like double cross, triple cross, and it just it was too much it was too much for a movie like this. 3
Russians, 3 Americans, and the Russians are speaking Russian at some points, and the Americans know a little Russian, but that's about it. And they're over here just listening to them speak that and thinking, oh no, they're not gonna like try and kill me. Like if they're speaking in their own language. Obviously, it's something that they don't want you to hear, so they're also using words that you probably cannot translate. How could you be so stupid as to think that they would not?
And that was another
be like planning something.
That was another annoying thing. It's like the motivation for like a lot of this was just so. There was a lot of plot holes. There was a lot of like areas that they missed. Like, and that's a great example. They could speak some Russian. But these Russians are talking to each other in Russian after a nuclear war begins on Earth between Russia and the United States.
Why would you not be curious about that?
You're not curious? You're not thinking? They weren't curious. They didn't care. And so it just, you just get so irritated. And it just, there were so many dumb things.
And most of them were either in like the Marine Corps or the Air Force or something. They were soldiers, most of them.
Most of them in the
prior
military.
to becoming scientists, or they were scientists in the military, still soldiers. Why would you not think they would do that? They would break and be like, yep, I've got to follow orders. And you'd be like, he's a soldier. Yeah, he's going to follow orders.
It never immediately clicked with them. And so there was a whole lot of, what do we do? What are they going to do? Well, what do you think?
Did they get the same order?
What do you think?
Did they do that?
It was so banal. And you know, there was a lot of...
What does that mean?
It means your face.
Oh. That's hurtful.
Emotional damage.
No, but there was just a whole lot of like hanging around. They were making sandwiches. People were dying.
See, one thing that got me...
No. I want to do one more line. There was another line where somebody asked the main girl, "You okay? You doing okay?" And I said, "Yeah, there's 3 corpses on the ship, but yeah, I'm doing great."
He did.
What do you mean? How am I doing?
After we left, because people were dying.
That's a whole... We're going to get to that. That's going to be the grand finale here.
So my thing that drove me batshit crazy, which apparently nobody else in our party noticed, is the harnesses that were holding these people up, actors up.
For the movie.
For the movie.
Not in context of the film.
Not in context of the film.
In making the movie. Yes.
To make them like feel or look like they were floating. All I could stare at were the harnesses, because you could see it on the backs of their thing. Like, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show you, like, here, Okay, they're all wearing like sweatpants. So you can see the harness chunks. Like they can't all be the same shape, all the same width. They were all different body sizes, yet they all looked the same width because of these freaking harnesses.
Will you excuse us for a second? Never again put your butt in my face. Who do you think you are?
But right in your face.
Stop it! At the end of the day, this is January is a horrible time for movies.
Yeah.
Every year there is a famous line called "F you, it's January." Now that's what it is. Red Letter Media has done sketches on it. I've talked about it with friends before, but no, it's called "F you, it's January," which means they're going to put the movies out in January that probably won't do great, and this is one of them. This movie is not doing well, and it's a bore. It's boring, and it gets a little too brutal for a movie like this. And then we got to talk about
But almost not even brutal.
We got to talk about the dumbest thing. The main guy of the movie is a character named Gordon, played by man from Mindy Project. I don't remember his name.
Should I look it up?
No.
Put it here.
No, I'm not even going to put it there. He doesn't even deserve it.
Damn.
He doesn't deserve it.
Man from Mindy Project.
Man from Mindy Project is like the main American. He's like the American in charge. You have like the Russian, the high-ranking Russian. You have the high-ranking American. He's in charge.
Yeah.
They try to do away with him first when he goes out to inspect the antenna. Turns out,
which is told to him by the Russian leader
that it's messed up.
That it's messed up and it has to be fixed manually from the outside.
That's
There's
right.
Nothing else they can do.
So he goes out to look at it, and then they use the manipulator arm to knock him off, thinking that they had killed him. Okay. And then in this very heroic scene later in the movie, one of the Russians that decides not to turn on everybody finds him. He's hanging on. He was still there. He's hanging on to it, to the International Space Station. So he maneuvers the arm to grab him, and the heroic music is playing. And you think, oh,
yay,
yeah,
he's not dead.
And then he comes in. Oh, and it should be noted that there's a Russian woman. One of the two women is Russian, and he's had a relationship with her. She gets killed. Spoiler. In the spoiler. Sorry.
Spoiler.
She gets killed during his interim out in the space. He comes back, finds out she's dead, and he goes ape crazy and confronts the main Russian guy
who's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, and he grabs a drill. The Russian guy has a screwdriver. And they do a very slow motion in space fight with each other. That's why you can't.
Which now they wind up switching too. So now the American has the drill and the Russian. No. The Russian has the drill. The American has the screwdriver.
Yes.
And it is the slowest motion fight scene ever. And death by hardware store, basically. Okay.
God, you could drive a truck through your brakes, man.
I quit. I'm done. So the head Russian guy, the head American guy have now switched tools. Russians got the drill. Americans got the screwdriver. They're fighting in slow motion, and then they hug each other. But not in the way you think.
They're not, but they don't hug each other
They do. They grab each other like here and pull.
Not to embrace. They're trying to kill each other, but they have to pull each
I
other.
said not the way you think.
I thought you meant like sexually.
No.
They have to pull each other in to kill each other.
Pull each other in so it becomes an embrace.
So they can kill each other.
The Russian stabs the drill into the American and literally is drilling his stomach.
Yeah.
Which technically I don't think anybody would die from per se. They probably would have some internal damage, but I don't think they would die. Grant you, in space, I don't really know. And then the American...
In space, no one can hear you care.
Then the American stabs the screwdriver into the Russian's neck here. And as they both hold it and they take their last breath, they are embraced in some awkward hug. And because so they had to pull each other in,
and that's when I lost it.
And all of a sudden, I just hear.
Yeah. So Mindy Project Man pointlessly dies. He doesn't. He comes back heroically, only to die in the very next scene.
Dumbest death
in the
ever.
dumbest way possible, and they're just floating there. And I start laughing because I'm laughing at the fact that he dies for no reason
after he just almost died.
This fight was so stupid. And the way they died and how they died, it was all dumb. And then when they finally, it took them forever to open up the area of the ship because they closed it off so they could fight.
Well, because it was an airlock
When
area.
they finally got it opened back up, the sun was all of a sudden shining as bright, and so it looked like a supernova. And I was like, "Oh no, supernova!" And I started laughing harder. It's like, why is it so bright in there all of a sudden? It just didn't make sense, Miss Pingrino.
Because they could see them clearly through the little window, but then when they opened the door, they couldn't see them clearly.
Yeah.
And then they're floating like in a hug, and then they come out of the hug, and they're just like.
And so now they're dead. And then the movie the movie ends, and it's just
It doesn't end.
No,
It's
and
more
then
things.
and then so I'm not going to spoil the rest of it. I don't want to spoil too much, but it ends on an ambiguous note. It ends on a note where you don't know what's going to happen.
It ends on God. They probably could try to make a second, but please, Joan.
It ends with I will say this. It ends with two of the characters, just two,
Just do.
getting off of the spaceship, the International Space Station, and flying back to Earth. With the main thing, which is all of this is leading to, is a radiation poisoning cure. Because the main girl has come up with found the cure to radiation poisoning.
Nope.
No, who does?
No, the Russian guy.
I don't care.
I care!
The Russian scientist. She was studying organ replacement.
That's fine. Everything's great. Everything is great. Everything's fine. Anyway, they have the cure to radiation poisoning, so they have to. That's basically what all this is boiling down to.
Yeah.
And so the movie ends with them going back to Earth with no guidance, because remember, a nuclear war has happened. So in thought process here, the major governments are probably destroyed. There is no way to guide them back to Earth. Really, the I.S.S. was in free fall. It was gonna fall to Earth anyway with everything that was going on. So it
got boosted back up.
Fine, but that's the whole point of the movie was that was going on anyway.
Yeah.
They fly back down to Earth, but you don't see them land. You don't see them talk to anybody.
No, because they literally ask each other, where are we going?
It lands on
And
a
they're
question
like,
mark. Yeah.
I don't know.
It lands on ends on a question
Because
mark.
I'm guessing this little ship that travels them back and forth is either has a preset destination to America or a preset destination to Russia. So they may land in either one, and we have no idea which one they shall land in.
So it ends on a question mark, and that's the dumbest way to end on a movie like that. There are good ways to do it. But my first thought from last night was Castaway. The movie Castaway, Tom Hanks, he gets in the plane crash, he lives on the island for years, then he gets rescued from the island, and so he has to move on with his life. And the movie ends with him at a literal crossroads. He's at a 4-lane highway there, and he gets out of his car and he's looking at the different roads. So it ends with him at a literal crossroads. What's he going to do for the rest of his life? That's an amazing, ambiguous ending. This is not a good way to end it. Are they going to come to Earth and one of them going to be looked at as criminals, or are they both going to look at as criminals? Are they both going to get killed? Are they going to survive even going back down to Earth because they have no guidance? They could just burn up in the atmosphere. Why do this? It's just a waste. It was such a wasteful way to end a movie. And my dad said it best. They don't know how to make movies anymore.
No.
They really don't.
If it's not an Avengers or a Marvel movie, they really don't know how to make it.
If they don't know...
And even some of those.
Two of my favorite movies from 2023 is Oppenheimer and Wonka. Oppenheimer is a historical biopic, which always does well, and Wonka is a prequel to an existing, franchise.
Which blew us away more than we even thought it would. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like when they try to make new stuff, they just don't know how to do it anymore, and this is a perfect example of that.
This would have been one time where I feel like you could have made the movie a little longer to have a more precise ending.
And cohesive
It was almost like
plot.
you were like, oh, we decided we can't go more than 95 minutes.
Yeah.
We're at 95 minutes, so done. We're just done.
It needed less glancing and moving around the ship,
Yes.
and more like escape. Like maybe they could have like a grand escape where the two of them are trying to escape and the main bad guy's trying to get them as they're trying to get into the ship, and maybe the I.S.S. is about to explode and they only have a few seconds, so the good guys are trying to fight them off to get into the ship, and then just as they get off the ship, the thing explodes and they land on Earth safely, and you see and maybe you don't have to know the answer, but they land on Earth safely, and then they're in the ocean bobbing, and all of a sudden there's ships, and it's one's American, one's Russian, and they're coming together because they've somehow come together. You know, it's just something that gives you like a little hope there at the end. They didn't do that. It's literally just, it just went. The movie didn't even end. It just stopped.
It just stopped. It's like literally it's like when you pay for gas with cash. Once you hit your limit,
that's it.
That's it.
We're done.
It stops.
And then you take
and
it
then
out and you go
take
home.
it out and you go. So the movie was paid for, and they're like, "We only paid for 95 minutes. You've hit 95 minutes."
Did they go to? I wonder if they went to the executives and like, wait, where's the rest of it? No, you just paid us for 95 minutes.
Paid us for 95 minutes.
We didn't have an ending.
That's it.
And they're like, screw it. We'll release it. Fine.
It's fine.
Phew, it's January. So we'll delete it.
That's kind of a good analogy, though.
It is. Phew, it's January. It's January. Let's put it out.
You put $20 in. That's it.
That's it. And you know, for a space movie and a big budget one, it felt like they spent $20 on the budget. It just wasn't that great. I'm sorry.
All the things.
It was
the same.
It was no Apollo 13 or The Martian with the Matt Damon. None of it. Wasn't anything like that.
It's bad. It was so bad.
So, Miss Pingrino, would you recommend I.S.S.?
No.
Neither would I.
No.
I.S.S. in theaters now. Wow, Miss Pingrino. Not yet. Jesus Christ. Wow, Miss Pingrino. That's I.S.S. I hope we never see a movie like that again. We probably will.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!